much and welcome everyone. I'm really looking forward to our time together today. I would say don't be shy, feel free to, we're going to ask you for participation. So join us in the chat, come on video, even speak up. You can come off mute and speak up. This is meant to be an interactive session. And so I'm here to help, engage you in a career or job change because changing jobs and careers is often a very daunting task. So my goal today is to make the process seem a little easier and make it more personal for you. So be prepared. I'd say if you have a pen and paper handy, because you're going to do some work, some thought work, and or take notes on your laptop or your mobile device. And let's get started. So this is my 5-step career change framework, and I think Matt advertised that this would be included in the session. I developed this after working and coaching hundreds of people from all generations in the workforce today and in multiple countries. We're going to explore each part of this framework. It's comprehensive and somewhat based on elements of life coaching. And the reason I did that is because I believe knowing what we want in life, including our career or a business, if you're an entrepreneur, is key to a happy life. Being in sync with your purpose and carrying that through in your business or your career. The first step is the idea or the aspiration that you might have, that vision, what are you envisioning? And we'll go through that. Step 2 is making it real. Like, how do we get real with that? And we'll bring more detail into the vision. Step 3 is doing some research. So trying to discover who you are, what you need, what you've got, what gaps you might have to get you where you want to go. Step 4 is fun. This is a fun part. You get to experiment with your vision through design, practice, iterations, and testing without a huge commitment. And step 5 is the success. It's where you land in that dream job or achieve that vision that you have. And I just want to say, now is an awesome time to do this kind of work, especially I know some people are just starting out or thinking about going back into work coming out of the pandemic. It's a great time because business and the workforce landscape is changing. It's changing dramatically. So there's a lot of white space to be creative here. Create a position or company you envision, even if it's not currently available. People and organizations are looking for innovative solutions and ideas to not only survive the disruptions like the pandemic, but also to accelerate their business growth. So let's get started. The first step is, trying to understand what is motivating you to make a change or motivating you to go towards your aspiration. So if you have an idea or aspiration in mind, what is driving you to take that action? I'm going to read these questions on the screen, and I'd love if you can enter your thoughts in the chat feature, or feel free to come off mute and share, or just take notes and, keep it to yourself for now. But the more we share, I think the better we can work through this together. So are you thinking of something because you're trying to get ahead in where you currently are, but don't see a path forward? Do you feel underutilized at your job, but know you can do more? Are you interested in pursuing a different, more future-focused field or career? Do you feel the need to pivot to a new profession or field, continue working longer than originally planned for retirement? I know some people are extending their time for work because this is such an exciting time in the business world. Are you feeling compelled to start your own business? Can you please share, are any of these real for you? Are these thoughts that you may be having? Are there other thoughts? And feel free to put it in the chat or come off mute and share what you're thinking.
Okay,
Melissa, great. I see she underutilized.
Yep.
Taylor, you're interested in doing something more future focused. That's awesome. There's a lot of focus on that right now for companies. Same for Annalisa. Awesome. Thank you all for contributing. This is great. Yeah, getting ahead. So you see that you have the ability to do more, but you don't see a path to do that. That's great. Not great for the situation, but great input here. Linda says all of the above. Yeah, it could be everything. John has added one. So trying to give value as a past entrepreneur. Interesting. So you kind of want to help people in that space. Um, that could be a potential business opportunity too. And Pej, if I pronounced your name right, I hope. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I didn't. I added one. He just can't see himself working in his career anymore. So maybe, some things changed, and we'll get a little deeper into that. So thank you all for sharing that. If you remember any of these questions or you took notes, keep them handy because we're going to keep building throughout this session. So let's move on. Based on what you all shared on the previous slide, I want you to see some of the latest statistics for why employees leave and why people are changing jobs. I think this helps for two reasons: to know that you're not alone and possibly confirms the thoughts for why you're ready to make a change. So the first one is 66% of employees would quit a job if they didn't feel appreciated. That number is even higher for younger workers, with nearly 8 in 10 millennials saying they would look for new opportunities if they don't feel appreciated by their colleagues or leaders. The next one is 70% of millennials consider leaving a job, to one boasting flexible work options. It's actually a perk that all age groups would appreciate. It's not just millennials. So this is gaining more and more momentum. The third one is 37% of workers would switch jobs to one that allowed offsite work or even part-time work. The remote working conversation typically aligns with the desire to achieve a greater work-life balance, or you might have heard it termed as work-life integration. This is an especially hot topic as things improve following the pandemic. We've proven we all could work remotely, and a lot of people are going to want to continue to do that. The fourth one is 75% of voluntary employee exits, so people choosing to leave, are due to a poor manager or boss. It's not the job. They like the work they're doing, they just are not happy with their boss. So leaving a bad manager was the number one reason why workers quit the job, honestly, if you look at HR statistics. And that relationship with the direct line manager is critical to several success factors for employees: their productivity, their morale, and their engagement overall. So are they willing to give more to the job? And the last statistic to share with you is 72% of employees would leave their company for one with a more inclusive culture. So workers today expect more than just a paycheck from their jobs, and they're willing to compromise on base salary to find the right fit. I hear from clients all the time that they are looking for a company culture that fits with their core values. And that's part of what we're going to work on in this framework as well. And I have to tell you, going forward, strong leadership, work-life balance, and appreciation for one's work are only going to become more important for us and for companies to attract and retain employees. So it's not a topic you might have heard 5 years ago, but these topics and these issues are here front and center today. Now let's start on the discovery process. So I'm going to give you all 2 minutes to write down your idea or aspiration. What is that thing that you kind of envision for yourself and why? So, like, I loved John's response. He wants to give value as a past entrepreneur. That's getting to your why. An example is, I'm an individual contributor at a company. Maybe I'm a software developer who's aspiring to lead a team to build innovative solutions and solve real world problems. But I don't see a way there in the near future at my current company. So I'm thinking I need to make a change. But I wanted to start with that idea or aspiration and the why, and then what is the reason for the change. So let me give you 2 minutes to do that. Write it down. Feel free to share it in the chat. Feel free to come off mute and share it with us. Um, all is welcome. Quiet time can be challenging, but we're going to get through it. We have a minute and a half to go. I'm actually timing it. Okay, we're down to 1 minute. This exercise can actually take a lot more time, but this just gives you an idea of how you would start really to write down or um, visualize and communicate your aspiration, your why, and why you want to make a change. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep on going here. If you're with me, give me a thumbs up if you're on video, or if you are not, do a hand clap or something, because I want to keep moving on. And respect everybody's time, and I think we have a lot to cover. All right. Thanks, Taylor. Hold on. Okay. The next step is getting real. I love this step. It's where we define what are our must-haves. The hardest part about making a career change is the cognitive dissonance. It's getting in balance with the beliefs and values that are causing you to make the change. Basically, we want to validate you're truly ready to make a move. If you get this right, it will enable you to create a plan for success for the long term. I think this is a critically important step. It can reveal if your ideal situation is right in front of you or if you truly are ready to make a change. I'm going to reveal 5 questions, one at a time, and give you 15 seconds for each question to think through the answer for yourself. Write down your response or note it somehow. We're not going to share those. You just keep it for yourself. So let's get started. First question. What are you most passionate about in your work? Next question. What do you love to do that supports others? Care for, teach? Do you like to teach? Do you like to coach? Take 15 seconds and just jot down some thoughts. Okay. Next question. What type of workplace culture is most comfortable for you? Where do you feel the most comfortable when you're at work with everyone? 2 more questions. Number 4 is what is your ideal work-life balance for your own well-being and performance? How does work look to you? Do you need to work part-time at home, part-time in an office? Write that down for yourself. Okay, and our last question. Oh, what type of professional development opportunities are you interested in for you to develop, whether it's your skills, your personal development? What are you interested in? And write that down. Okay, we've made it through the 5 questions. Hopefully you took some notes. Just put this in the chat, answer this in the chat. As you answered these questions, did you need to make a change and your vision strengthen? That did that need for a change and your vision strengthen? Or did you see that what you were desiring might be right in front of you with a little tweaking? An example I'll give you is, for me, I might check off all 4 of these for where I currently am in my situation, but I'm missing the professional development. So before I start down the path of a change, I honestly would have to go check with the company, see what they offer in terms of professional development that I may not be aware of. Maybe I've had my head down and been focusing on my work. Maybe they offer learning programs and tuition reimbursement programs. I honestly don't know. I'm going to have to put in a little effort on this one to see if I truly need to make a move. Because if I have all that I want in the first 4, and I only need to do the last one, then maybe I'm good where I am, and I just need to do a little tweaking. So, did anybody have any thoughts or want to share a comment or have a question about this? Don't be shy. If not, it's quite okay. We're going to keep on moving.
I can.
Oh, somebody's jumping in.
Hi, it's Paige. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Sometimes the audio of my computer sucks. I'm still writing, but um, something that showed up for me with this is I've had a very corporate background in terms of my career in technology and leading teams and building things. And what I'm trying to go into now is it's still not 100%. It's like clear, but I can't quite articulate it, if that makes sense. And I think it's also tied to my purpose. Um, so in terms of like working, I definitely do not see myself working in like a typical workplace environment. And I could see myself working at home, having time to write my thoughts, like having that space to just write and enjoy the process and my days. And I also could see myself working with a global team, like a very small niche team, and also serving people, like helping people. What did I write? Helping people begin a journey to like go back to the truth of themselves and to see what's possible for them and to motivate them to actually go do it, basically.
All
So I don't know
right.
if that answers the question, but I thought I'll share since no one shared.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I mean, what you shared is exactly what I wanted to come out of this exercise. You're starting to think about what is it that you're envisioning and getting a little more detail, knowing how you want to work or what you want to work on. That's perfect because that's going to set you through the next few steps that we're going to go through here to get a little more concrete on that. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And I see John wrote in that he's stuck on starting a company or joining a company. Yeah, like, well, what do I do? This or that? I, I can't answer that question, but we're going to work through this. And you may get some aha moment towards the end. I think on step 4, John, be able to help you with something there. But it's just good to even recognize that you are thinking about different options, and this helps, and you can go a lot deeper on these questions, helps you to sort that through for yourself. Did anyone else want to share before I move on? All right, let's keep going. Sorry, it takes me a while to find my clicker here. Okay. So step 3 is getting ready to learn about yourself in the job market. So let's assume you have some clarity on what you're looking for, like that, specific type of office environment or the type of work that you like doing that's aligned with your purpose, and you're ready to make that change. It's time to do the research and get prepared. There are 5 steps to doing the research to get ready for this in my framework. And at the end of this, I think Mac mentioned there's a handout with the resources that you can use to get through the 5 steps. Um, the first one is know your strengths and skills. This is where you really want to take all the knowledge that you have gained to this point, the practices that or the aptitude that you have, the competencies that you have that describe you the best. And in that handout, there's some assessments that you could do to really get to understand this for yourself. The second one is to identify the latest trends. Make sure there's a need in the market for what you're looking for. You may need to iterate here to find this is something new that needs to be created, or you may just need to do a little tweaking to understand where you would fit in. The third one is understanding the skills and positions that are in high demand. Software developer is the number one position today. And interestingly enough, a key skill for a software developer, it's a soft skill, is problem solving. So if you have a passion or a strength at problem solving, you might want to look into software development. And then lastly, you want to, oh no, sorry, number 4, identify your skill gaps. So you may realize, based on what you're interested in, you may have to develop a little bit, develop your skills. But keep in mind, all skills are transferable. For example, I have a skill in project management. I can manage projects in any kind of industry, honestly. It's a basic discipline that you have, and you can transfer that to any industry, to any business. And then lastly, you want to explore the companies that match your values, provide the benefits that work best for you, and check for reviews. Check Glassdoor, check online to see and get to know how a company is perceived by its employees and its applicants. This is really, really an important step. These steps require work, and oftentimes this is where I meet people for coaching to help them through, keep them accountable on all of these steps because it is work and it's personal work, and sometimes we tend to just put what we need aside. So let's keep moving on if I haven't lost you.
Or Laura, Melissa
Yeah.
actually shared a little detail. She said she learned coding for about a year at her last company, tried to transition to the apps department, and they denied the move. So she quit the company. Just an example of knowing when it's time to leave.
Yeah, knowing when it's what it's time to leave, or I don't know, Melissa, your situation, but maybe questioning what was the decision, why was the decision denied, and what could have been done differently. As a coach, I would ask that question because maybe there was some additional skill that was needed to move into the app. Um, could be a number of different things, but just trying to understand what some feedback might be, or some insight to the situation would be helpful.
She mentioned that if
Oh,
you're too good at your current job, managers will block you.
yeah, that happens too. So that's that um, statistic I shared on management, right? So if we go back to step 3, you really have to do your research on, what is it that people are saying about that company? Do they have a good management? Are their managers well perceived, or how do they operate as a business, right? How are things? And I'm actually in the space of doing management and leadership development, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get managers trained as managers and leaders as leaders, and it's been a challenge through the whole pandemic situation as well. So Valid, very valid, Melissa. Thank you for sharing that. That takes a lot of courage. Step 4. This is fun. To me, this is fun. I'm actually doing this step right now with all of you, creating a prototype for your vision. So now that you have an idea of what you're looking for, what you want, what you might need to do, what you've got in your bag of skills and strengths, you could start to prototype your vision without making a big commitment. The goal of this step is to find ways to practice. And it's sort of an agile approach. And you don't have to make radical changes. You can just keep iterating. This is going to be different for everyone. What works for me may not work for you. Let me share an analogy because this might help to get us started. So, take, for example, you're wanting to compete in a physical challenge like running a marathon. You would have to start by jogging. Then you might get into a 3K challenge or a 5K challenge, keep working your way up, constantly needing new sneakers along the way, and you'd work your way towards a 26-mile marathon. You may accomplish that goal, or you may get to the 5K and realize, you know what, running is just not for me, and you need to try something different. It's the same with a career change. This step enables a less risky way for you to try before you make a change. Let's talk through some of the ways to prototype. One way is to spend time with people doing what you want to do. Take courses to see if you actually like it, like the software developer example. If I've never done coding before, maybe I could take a course on coding and see if I even like it, right? Or if I could build the skills before I would pursue that for the long term. Maybe you want to follow people on social media who are doing what you do. You might want to get a part-time or gig job, just again to test and see if you like it. You could try getting mentored by someone in the position. You can join professional organizations, and you can practice interviewing. Apply for jobs and if you get the interviews, see, how you do. Is it in the discussion? Is it something you really are going to be interested in pursuing? Like I mentioned, I'm doing it with you today. So I'm doing more and more coaching, and I'm testing my framework, right? I want to see if it works. But it's not taking a whole lot of effort in terms of money, in terms of time. We've got a 1 hour session here, right? So I'm giving it a try. Is this resonating with you guys? Give me like a thumbs up or something in the chat.
Yeah, no, I always love the idea of like spending time with people who are doing what you want to do. I think that's an excellent way to
Good.
just, yeah, start making it real.
Yeah, the idea for step 4 is, keep trying until you get it right for you or your business, discovering and trying different things, getting feedback, like I said, tweaking along the way until you reach success. There's a book that's going to be in the resource handout. I have it here with me today. It's Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. It's a great read for guiding you through the steps. So if you don't have a coach, you can use this book. It'll definitely walk you through the process and the thinking. And the last step is landing that position or building that business. So here you want to become a catalyst for your vision or that dream job. This is where you want to update your resume. And I don't know if you thought this was about resume writing. It wasn't. That's another whole course. But you want to update your resume, update your online profiles, LinkedIn, Indeed, etc. Showcase your new skills and experience. It's also a time to share your story, maybe through a blog or an Instagram journal. Others will want to know about your journey. Employers will appreciate what you've accomplished and the work you've put in to get there. And potential clients, if you're a bit, thinking about being an entrepreneur, will know how much you care based on what you went through to get to where you are today. Just putting yourself out there can be scary sometimes, but it will generate the energy and opportunities that you've prepared yourself for throughout the whole process. it might take a while to land a job at the right company. So I would say, find ways to stay resilient, practice self care that works for you. I love to walk. So in between meetings, in between coaching sessions, I have to take walks. Um, and I do it even in the freezing cold. I'm in the Northeast. Keep your eye on your goal always. Think of all that you've learned along the way with gratitude, always reflecting on how far you've come at each point. Focus on those like small wins. They all count, they all add up. It's like a compound interest effect. And then once you've landed in the right place, I encourage everyone to help others do the same. It's it's a good way to give back, always paying it forward. Again, that's kind of what I'm doing with you all today. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for people behind me that did things for me to help me in my career. And so I want to do the same thing. And that's what I do in my business. My purpose is to coach people who aspire to achieve more in life. So that's the framework in a nutshell. There's a ton of work and it could take time. I've worked with clients over 3 months and 6 months, depending on how fast they want to move. And we move through the process. And then at times it's just they just check in with me just to see that they're kind of on the right path or keeping on track. And or sometimes they just want to get in touch to say like they've had some phenomenal like aha moment and they've come into something that they didn't even expect, but it was better than they had expected. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I'm going to open it up, if it's okay, Mac, for questions in case anybody has
Oh,
questions, and you can speak the questions or you can put them in the chat. Questions or comments, I would say. Open to anything you
mhm.
would like to share.
I'll just say I like that that last step of sharing your journey on like social media because I think yeah that you never know what opportunities your friends know of that you don't that can kind of point you in the right direction. So just throwing it out there in the social media ether I think is just kind of your journey and like what you're working on. This is really
Yeah, and it
helpful stuff.
does. It's sort of like a law of attraction, honestly. Like if you start
Yeah.
posting on LinkedIn, maybe that you're future focused and what you're doing in that space for future focus. Maybe you're taking a course on it. Maybe there's
Mhm.
actually a certification on future focused thinking. And talking that up, so people will seek you out because they see that. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's a really good way to sort of test yourself out and get ready for that position. Someone asking the name of the author of the book. So it's Bill Burnett and Dave Evans.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see that.
And that'll be on the handout
It's,
as well, I believe.
yes,
Okay, great. All right, we're getting some comments here. Taylor points out has a good point. Also, if you post it on social media, it'll help other people kind of take that risk too, and it could be turn into like a conversation between you and others.
exactly. And that's Mac. That's how you and I met, right? I was a member of the Lunch Club, which is an online
Mhm.
networking platform, which is also in the resource guide. I met one of Mac's colleagues talking about what I'm doing and what I'm interested in, and they were doing the same. And then they said, "Hey,
Mhm.
can you come and do a chat with our community?" And so here I am today, right? So yeah,
Nice.
having those conversations online or in the line in the restaurant, they all count.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought of it like that. That's true. You did kind of do your
I'm
own
living the framework, Mac.
live the framework. Yeah. Awesome. Let's see. Melissa put something in the chat here. Being more open helps. It's not all about just keeping your head down and working. Yeah, going outside and like living your life. Yeah, I feel like that's when you find these opportunities is when you get out of your headspace.
Right.
Um, oh, okay. Yeah, looks like she a line at the restaurant. It's looking for a marketing director. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting in line with think back to those first couple of steps. What is your why? If you know Simon Sinek, he talks a lot about the why, or what is your purpose?
Hmm.
And you sometimes can marry your passion and your purpose in what you do. And then if you're
Yeah.
talking about it and you're living it, yeah, like it brings the best of everything to that, happy life, including your career or your business.
Yeah. Yeah. There is something to be, for me, like merging passion and professional life has always been kind of a struggle. 'Cause, I'm a writer, I illustrate things, but I've never thought that could turn into a profession. So merging those kind of two skills. Um,
Merging them, or I think it was John earlier in the chat, or somebody that
mm,
was torn between doing working for a corporation or doing their own thing. Like, why
right.
can't you do both? Like, why can't, why can't you do a little bit of both? And you'd have to
That's
define
right.
that for yourself, right?
Yeah.
But that's that prototype. Like, try it, right?
You're right.
See, maybe if you can't choose, maybe you try both and see which works, or maybe you do
Mm,
them in parallel.
right. That's helpful. Thank you.
Mm.
Any other questions here, guys?
Hi, it's Paige again.
Hey,
Paige.
Paige.
Okay,
Hey,
hi.
Paige.
Yeah, thanks so much for this, Laura. This has been really helpful. So the question I have is around, would you have any tips around trying to explore what industry to go into? Like, I know it has to do, for me, it has to do around the mental, either well-being, wellness space, right? But I'm not quite sure because my background is in technology, right? And strategy and planning and working with teams and, converting and helping teams be more effective, basically. But now at the same time, while I was working in corporate for about 13, 14 years, I always had a little, wellness thing I did on the side, but I just never thought it was something I would want to do full time. And that was helping people with like vision boarding. I had an NLP license. I help people. I do a lot of encouragement, a lot of coaching, a lot of future pace setting as well, visualizations. But now I really want to just dive into that full time and in supporting myself because I declined job offers in 2020 that were even going to pay me more than what my other companies were paying me because I just couldn't see myself working in that setting anymore. I just can't bring myself to accept it and do it. So I know I want to work somewhere that's, in that wellness, well-being space. But I've tried to network a lot. I'm still networking and, trying to at least find people that are doing something similar or have a lifestyle similar to what I want, just to get an idea of, okay, my own research in terms of what exactly it is I want to do or where I want to work. But I still haven't quite figured it out. So it's like, how do we do research in defining that industry, or especially if I'm not that familiar with it on a professional level in terms of experience and work.
Sure. No, that's, and I think that's like wellness in the wellness industry in general is exploding. If you look at organizations like the Global Wellness Institute, they have statistics on where, when, how, the opportunities are for business for wellness. And so, once you look at what opportunities are out there where there's, room for business growth, and it's like in the billions of dollars of growth in the wellness industry right now, you'd have to define your niche. So what, if you want to do wellness, you have to get real specific. Is it for working moms? Is it for athletes? Like, get real specific in who's your target audience or your niche, and then build your business from there. Or if you're someone like who likes organizations, like what likes working in an organization for the structure, there's now chief well-being officer, like at the senior VP level, reporting to the CEO. Like wellness is becoming a huge topic in corporate America. So you can definitely look in multiple ways and experiment with this and talk to people and ask yourself all those questions that we went through here to say, where exactly do I need to start and do the research. But you're in a good space. You're in a good industry if that's what you're thinking. There's lots of opportunity there.
Thank you. I like the chief well-being officer. That I can aspire to for sure.
That's a great
Yeah.
aspiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love the comment there about volunteering, which is a great way to network. Absolutely. And you could do online volunteering now or in person. So lots of opportunity there.